Hi everyone, welcome to our little practice today. Another Pilates inspired workout, working those deep tummy muscles. We're going to be starting lying on our back. Feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. And then just check that you've got a lovely long spine. Just need to adjust my ponytail. And then just bring the hands to the belly. I've got the heel of my hands on my hip bones and my fingertips pointing down towards my pubic bone. My thumbs just happen to be touching. Checking that pelvis is in neutral, so you haven't got the lower back touching to the floor, so you're tilting that pelvis and it's not overly arched, it's just in neutral. Backs of the shoulders, shoulder blades are in contact with the floor. And I've just got my upper arms resting on the mat. Close your eyes. Just a few rounds of your natural breath here. And then just check that your feet are in contact with the floor. So that big toe man's in contact with the floor, all the toes, and then you're not rolling onto the outside edge of the feet or rolling into the inside edge of the feet so the knees fall in. So feet are hip width apart, big toe man in contact with the floor. Keep that pelvis in neutral. Then let's activate our deep tummy muscles. So whether you're thinking about hugging in, bracing or scooping up and in or zipping up or hollowing, whichever visualization works for you. Check that you haven't tilted the pelvis at all, that that pelvis is still in neutral. Check in with the legs, the knees, the feet. And then let's just bring in our lateral thoracic breathing, where we're going to breathe wide and full to the front, the side, the back of the rib cage. And as you're inhaling wide and full, that belly will lift slightly, the chest will lift slightly. And as you exhale, the belly, the chest, the ribs will soften. So still make sure you're breathing into the back of the rib cage, which can be a bit tricky as we're lying on our back. And you can keep the hands on the belly, or you can float the arms to the floor, so up to you. And coming into a leg float, the movement's coming from the hip joint, not from, there's no movement from the knee or the ankle. So that gentle hug in, and then I'm going to float that right foot off the floor, right knee, right hip, slowly float it back down. Right knee, left knee, left hip, we're doing alternate legs. So right, slowly float it down, keep that gentle hug in. I'm just sliding my hands now to my hip joints, just to check that I'm moving from the hip joints. I'm getting that hip crease as that leg floats up. Just going to do one more each side, keep that gentle hug in, trying to keep that pelvis in neutral. Slowly lower down. And release. And then a gentle hug into the midline. Lift the head slightly to interlace the fingers behind the head and just allow the head to rest in the hands. I've got the back of my hands on the floor, head resting in the back of my hands, and I'm bringing my elbows up towards the ceiling. Coming into up curls, we're going to curl the upper body off the floor. So gentle hug into the midline. And as you exhale, slowly curl up vertebrae by vertebrae. Check that you're not putting on that head and neck. And inhale, slowly curl down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Slowly curl up on your exhale. Check that you're not tilting that pelvis or doming that belly out. Exhale, curl up. Checking that pulling on the head and neck. Checking the pelvis. Pulling that belly button down towards the spine so you're not doming out that belly. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, curl down. Exhale, curl up. And I'm going to curl down slowly. Curl up slowly. Inhale, curl down. Let's see if we can do 2 more. And then 1 more. Slowly curl down. You can keep the hands where they are, maybe open at the elbows to the side. Pause here for a moment. And then just slowly release the hands down. Maybe bring the hands to the hips. Maybe release the arms to the floor. Coming back to our leg floats, gentle hug into the midline. Float that right foot off the floor. Movement from the right hip. Slowly float it down. Left. Movement from the left hip. Float it down. Then right. Keep that gentle hug in. Keep that pelvis in neutral. This time as we float the right leg up, pause here, keep it here, then float the left leg up. We can come into toe taps. So slowly float the right toe to the floor, tap, slowly up, and then the left, tap, slowly up. Now if this feels too much for you, just come back to your leg floats. So one foot will stay on the floor the whole time. If you get a little bit tired with your toe taps, you can come back to your leg floats. Just keep that gentle hug in. This is good for testing your pelvic stability, your control of maintaining that pelvis in neutral, keeping it stable. Gentle hug in, check that you're breathing wide and full. There's lots to remember. Let's either do 1 more toe tap or 1 more leg float on each leg. And then if you're in, float one leg down, the other leg down, and release. Maybe have a gentle hug in, maybe a little sway from side to side. And then let's float 1 foot down, the other foot down, set your base, gentle hug in. Lift the head slightly, interlace the hands behind the head, elbows point up, coming back to our ab curls. Take a nice deep breath in, exhale, curl up, slow and controlled. Slowly control it on the way down. Curl up, check that nipple on the head and neck, or doming out that belly. Slowly curl down on the inhale. Exhale, curl up, float the right leg off the floor. Slowly float that right leg down. Inhale down. Exhale, curl up, float the left leg off the floor. Float the left leg down. Inhale down. And then carry on curling up. Right leg, lower it down, curl it back down. Exhale up, left leg down, inhale down. Exhale up, right leg down, inhale down. Exhale up, left, down, curl down. Let's do 2 more each side if you can. Keep it slow and controlled. Check that you're not doming the belly or tilting that pelvis as you curl up. I'm on my last one, right, curling down. I'm coming up to my last one, left, curl it down. Slowly curl down, open the elbows out to the side, just pause here for a moment. Release. Pausing here. Coming back to our leg floats or our toe taps. So set yourselves up. I'm doing toe taps. Gentle hug into the midline. Hands can stay on the hips or arms down by the side. And then let's tap that right toe down. Slowly up. Left toe. Check that that pelvis and neutral staying scooped up and in. You can carry on with the toe taps or your leg floats, or this time you can flex both feet, and as you lower the right leg down, the right heel taps and back up, heel digs. Left heel taps, back up. Keep it slow and controlled. And maybe maybe 2 more each side. Remember, you can come back to your toe taps, you can come back to the leg floats. And then slowly, slowly, slowly meet with both feet flat on the floor. Check that pelvis is neutral, gentle hug into the midline. Float that right knee off the floor, right knee, right hip. You can bring the right hand to that right knee. We're going to circle at the hip. Try and keep that left leg nice and still. And then change direction. Now, you have the option, come back to the centre, right knee, right hip. The movement comes from that hip joint. You can lengthen out that leg. So you can imagine that you're stirring in a pot. You can keep the knee bent or we'll keep that leg lengthened. I've got my toes pointing up to the ceiling and I'm circling in that hip joint and I'm visualising, I'm drawing circles on the ceiling, just a small circle, not a big circle. And try and keep that pelvis in neutral, keep it in contact with the floor. And then change direction. If it feels uncomfortable, just bend that knee. That resting leg, that left knee, try and keep it still so you can keep the left hand on that leg to remind it to stay still. And then come back to centre, bend the knee, float it down. Float the left leg off the floor, pelvis in neutral, gentle hug in. And let's just do a few circles with that left knee bent and then change direction. Come back to centre. Option to lengthen out that left leg. And let's do our circles. Keep that right leg still, keep that gentle hug in. Just a small range of movement. So you're drawing small circles on the ceiling. Change direction. Keep that gentle hug in. Come back to centre, bend that knee, float it all the way down. Gentle hug in, hug those knees in, maybe a little sway. And we're going to come back to our abdominal curlapse. Feet flat on the floor, pelvis in neutral, gentle hug in. Lift the head slightly, interlace the hands behind the head. Elbows point up. Take a nice deep breath in, curl up. Inhale, slowly curl down. Exhale, curl up, leg float right. And then slowly curl down. Exhale, curl up, left leg float. Float that left leg down, slowly curl down. We're going to add on. Exhale, curl up, float the right leg off the floor, rotate right, maybe half an inch or an inch. Slowly back to centre, curl it back down. Exhale, curl up, float the left leg off the floor, rotate left, back to centre, curl it down. Curl up, right leg, rotate right, back to centre, curl it down. Exhale, curl up, left, rotate left, centre, inhale down. Exhale, curl up, right leg, rotate right, centre, inhale down. Exhale up, left, rotate left, centre, and down. Let's do 2 more each side if you can. If it feels too much to do the leg float, you can just do the rotation, or you can just come back to the curl, or maybe just rest. I'm doing my last one on the left. And then I'm going to come into a nice long full body stretch. Slowly come all the way back to centre. And then from here, coming into either the heel digs, toe taps or leg floats. Hands can be on the hips or arms resting down on the floor. Gentle hug in, and let's start right leg and then left. Keep it slow and controlled. Keep that gentle hug in. Think about drawing that lower belly into the midline. Knees stay in line with the hips. And let's do 1 more each side. Gentle hug in. Now your option now is to float the left foot down and then come back to your hip circles with that right leg, or you can lengthen both legs up. You can bring the legs in together and squeeze them in together, knees on the hips, or you can bend the knees. And then from here, gentle hug into the midline, and then a small circle here, just a small circle. So you can do it single-legged, with one foot on the floor. You can do both legs together. Legs can be lengthened, or you can bend at the knees. It's slow, the movement is small, so really working with control. Change direction. If you're doing single leg, swap over legs, making sure you work in both directions. Really keep it small, slow and controlled. And let's just hug those knees in. And I'm just going to bring my hands to the knees, and I'm just going to circle both my knees. Doesn't matter what direction you're starting in, or you can just stay hugging the knees in and change direction. Gentle hugging. I think we should do those circles one more time. So if you don't want to do the circles, you can do curl-ups, or you can just rest. Remember, your circles can just be one leg at a time, or you can do both. And these can be bent, or the legs can be lengthened. I'm zippering up my lower legs together, my knees together. Gentle hug into the midline, knees are in line with the pelvis. And let's go. Don't worry which direction you're starting your circles in. Keep it slow and controlled. Small range of movement. So if you've worked with me before, when we've done things like our pelvic clock, this is what we're doing. So you're rolling to the lower back, down to the pubic bone, so it's like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm going to change direction. Slow and controlled. Remember to rest when you need to. And if you're doing single leg, just make sure you've swapped legs and you're changing direction. Let's do one more. And then just slowly hug those knees in. Option to come into a nice long full body stretch. And let's slowly slide the feet in. Feet hip width apart, make sure the big toe man's in contact with the floor. Bring the arms to the floor, palms facing the ceiling. Gentle hug into the midline, coming into a rolling bridge. But just gently lower the lower back towards the floor, nice and easy, pelvic tilt. And then slowly peel the vertebrae off the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae, keeping that pelvis in neutral. And then as you exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly curl all the way back down again. Pelvic tilt, come back to that neutral spine. Inhale here, exhale, pelvic tilt, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep that pelvis in neutral. Inhale at the top, and as you exhale, rolling it all the way down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Pelvic tilt, carefully come back to that neutral spine. Let's do two more. Inhale, exhale, pelvic tilt, checking that that big toe man's in contact with the floor, so the knees aren't falling in or falling out. Inhale at the top, and then you're going to exhale to roll it down. Let's do one more. Inhale, then exhale. You can stay here with the arms by your side, or if it feels comfortable on the shoulders, you can bring the arms up by the ears, by the temples, or maybe you can soften the elbows and allow the backs of the hands to rest on the floor. Keep that pelvis in neutral, And now my glutes are on. I've gently activated my glutes. And then just slowly bring the arms back down. And as you exhale, slowly roll all the way down, vertebrae by vertebrae. And then just slowly bring those knees out wide. Maybe allow the knees to fall in together. Close the eyes. And just your natural breath here. Soften the face. Check that that forehead is relaxed and the space between the eyebrows. Soften the throat, the chest, the ribs, the belly. Soften the elbows, the hands, the fingers. Soften the knees, the feet, the toes. And just allow the head to feel heavy. Arms are heavy. Body is heavy. Legs are heavy. The legs can stay as they are. You can lengthen them out and come into your Shavasana, your corpse pose, and just allow the feet to flop over to the side. Head is heavy. Arms are heavy. Body is heavy. Legs are heavy. Just allow the body to melt down into the mat, down into the earth below, and just rest. You can stay here for as long as you like. I hope you enjoyed this practice. Thank you very much for joining me. And I hope to see you really soon. Enjoy your rest.